11 for Lachuna Ranana.
Sorry, we had no audio.
Oh. And I sounded amazing.
Sorry.
Let's start again, right? Shalom. Lachuna Ranana. Lachuna Ranana. Lachuna Ranana. Lachuna Ranana. Adonai. Lachuna Ranana. Lachuna Ranana. Lachuna Ranana. Adonai. Nadia, Nadia, Letzori Shenu. Sorry, Nekad Mavana Letoda.
Can we turn the sound off?
Nadia, Nadia, Letzori Shenu. Please meet us, Nadia Ko. Lekuderanena, 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 Ladonai. Lekuderanena, 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 Ladonai. Lekuderanena, 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 Ladonai. Lekuderanena, 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 Ladonai.
Continue page 12.
ארבעים שנה כות בדור, ואומרם טוי לבבהם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשבעתי באפי, אם יבואון אל מנוחתי.
We turn down all the way, skip to page 20 for Romevu.
Feel free to sing loud. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho.
We turn to page 23 for Lecha Dodi.
So many melodies, so little time. Okay. I'll do this one. This one is a nice cheery one. Lecha dodi likrat kala enei Shabbat ekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala enei Shabbat ekabela. Shamor bezavor v'dibur echad, ish mi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, Shemo tiferet ve'tefilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala enei Shabbat ekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala enei Shabbat ekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'lecha, ki mekor habracha.
welcome the Shabbat partner into the room.
Boi b'shalom, ater and bala, gam b'simcha v'tzala, tov emunei am segula, boi chala, lechadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela, lechadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela.
You may be seated. This time, if there is anyone who is in the process of mourning, we welcome you to accept a tiny bit of a break for Shabbat, as much as the pain may be. I will talk a little bit more about some heartbreak in my own family from earlier this week, but Shabbat is a nice break to allow others to, and God to take time to comfort and heal us, and to remind us that there is something to be happy for. But we continue now on page 27 with the Psalm for Shabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשר מלך וקיים בחינות, כי שמחת ידיים בולך. צדיק כתמר יפרח, כרס בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני וחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינוגון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולה תבוא.
Mourners and those observing at your site, please join me for the Mourners Cottage, page 30. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbi, v'alma divra kirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dekol beit Israel, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru, yehei shmei Rabbi v'barach le'olam v'olamei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishavach v'yitchar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kedusha v'reichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, amiran v'alma v'imru, Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Israel v'imru, oseh shalom v'imroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Israel, v'al kol yosvei tevel v'imru.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
I am reminded this Friday night that you all have an obligation this weekend. An obligation that is one of my favorite things to do. And that is, this weekend you must hold some sort of bonfire or barbecue. Because this is the tradition of this weekend. Not only do we go into Memorial Day, marking the beginning of summer, and I'll talk a little bit more about the true meaning of Memorial Day tomorrow morning, but we mark this as the unofficial beginning of summer. Try telling that to an Arizonan, because it's already hot and it's summer already. Summer comes on like a light and goes, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's 4 months later and it's October, and all of a sudden someone's turned the heat off all of a sudden. But we also have Lag BaOmer, which begins tomorrow night, and we, as tradition, usually have a bonfire, and usually people do hot dogs or marshmallows or whatever your preference is over a bonfire during Lag BaOmer. There's also plenty of singing and dancing and running around. I am a big fan of barbecues. If you ask anyone, just anyone in my family, they will tell you how much I spent on my barbecue setup in the backyard, which after each and every use is meticulously cleaned and re-seasoned just to make sure that none of the previous things that I cooked were, can contaminate the flavor of especially the spice, because I like spicy things and I go all in on spices. But the reason why I'm asking you to obligate yourself, I apologize if I'm infringing upon any of your plans for the weekend already, is because barbecues remind me of something incredibly special. When I was a kid, Memorial Day weekend was a very special weekend because every member, every uncle, my father, two of my aunts, all served, but all knew someone who perished in the battles in which they served. All served in foreign wars, and my father being a Korean War veteran, two of my uncles being Vietnam veterans, all knew someone who perished for the sake of fighting for our country. But it was also a special time because it was the time when all the cousins got together. My father and my uncles, my father and his three brothers would all, you could hear them wherever we were because they were playing dominoes somewhere and somebody was yelling at somebody else. And my mother and my aunts were always running around trying to make sure that none of us cousins got into things that we shouldn't have got into. But every time we got together as a family, my Uncle Cliff would always be sure to host a barbecue. We would always wait for my cousin Ricky to arrive. My cousin Ricky was at that time a very popular LA artist, and he was always doing murals and album covers and movie posters and all sorts of things, and we were always anxious to see what my cousin Ricky was working on at the time. And when he arrived, it was like a superstar had walked into the room because he was always meeting somebody. My biggest point of jealousy with my cousin Ricky is that he was very good friends with Sidney Poitier, who was my movie idol, and he always had these pictures of him and Sidney Poitier, and he talked about, me and Sid we're going to this or doing this. It was always on the way to this barbecue that we took the 405 freeway down. And on the side of the freeway was a mural that my cousin Ricky was commissioned to do for the 1984 Olympics. And in that mural, and all of the murals, or most of the murals, all except for one, if you looked closely, he only told the family about this secret, that if you looked closely, one of the women that were depicted in each of the murals was my grandmother at different stages of her life. So I always felt that on the way, we could always, even though we were going to see Grandma in a few minutes, that we could always see her on the way. That was a special time. Well, my cousin Ricky passed away earlier this week. And one of the things that we as a family were talking about during the course of this week in remembrance of him always came back to those barbecues, where we were all together, where we were all so excited to hear about what was going on in each and everyone's life. And then, of course, just smile and be happy and have happy times. This, while being a weekend for Memorial Day, of a weekend of remembrance of those who sacrificed, we also have the opportunity to come together because of things like Lag BaOmer and a little bit of what the Torah teaches us this week, to really bring people together and treat them with the utmost kindness and respect and honor. So if you have time this weekend, have a barbecue. Invite people over. unless my Uncle Cliff, we had a cousin who didn't eat red meat. So they brought over salmon one time for my uncle to barbecue. And he was not too keen with salmon being on his barbecue, so he proceeded to kindly take the piece of salmon, charred it, and then when somebody came along to ask about the salmon, he said, "Oh, I never saw the salmon." Of course, you couldn't see the salmon because it was a charred piece of fish on the corner of the barbecue. But I think what Lag BaOmer calls us to Ahavat Israel, to love each other, to love our community. And the weather's perfect, so we might as well get outside and enjoy time together. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue with the Baruch Hu, Sydney. So you come up with the Cantor to lead us in the Baruch Hu as we begin the Mariv service. Page 38, we rise. Sorry, page 39.
That's
Off by one page.
That's us. I understand this is the same exact thing that Pastor does. Okay, come, let's do it. 1, 2, ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na.
Sydney up again to lead us in Shabbat.
Shouldn't have let you go far.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hashem
Middle of page 44.
ומלכותו ורצון קיבלו עליהם, משה מרים ובני ישראל, לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים, לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גם על ישראל.
Ashkenazi can be found top of page 45.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו, מלכנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים, ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום, ואתה לעד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים, מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
We rise together at top of page 46 for the singing of Vishamru.
Tell me how you're going
It's okay, Sydney. I'm just moving the camera to focus on you.
Just the chorus.
Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam.
Not with the camera. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbi. Ve'alma difra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei
Chayechonu b'yomechonu chayetecho beit Yisrael ba'agala ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen yesh me'rava mevara ve'alam lo me'omaya
Yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitbakar v'yitromam ve'yitnaseh v'yitchadar v'yitchaleh v'yitchalal shmei kedusha brichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushechata v'nechemata davira me'alma v'imru amen.
The Amidah for Friday night can be found on page 47 and is done balachash in quietness and silence. But feel free to use the words on the page or what is in your heart or in your mind. Take a moment to think about those, pray for those in our community who are in need of healing.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing.
Herb Kaufman, Chaim Melech ben Ephraim, Abraham ben Meir, Rose Hirsch, Steve Helfgott, Francine Weingast, Moshe ben Ra'el, Judy Zola, Zalman Zvi ben Abba Herschel, Yehudit bat Yechoved, Yitzhak Halevi ben Miriam, Vicky Bird, Mordechai ben Rachel, Chesa bat Brina, Annette Rotolo, Malcha Devora bat Chana Shifra, Chaya Pesa bat Freda Dora Shmuel Yosef, Yehuda Braun, Toba Gela bat Chaya, Karen Gaynor, Neil Rosenblum, Harav Masha Rachel bat Golda Leah, Yesab Isa bin Miral, Alexander Rachel bat Shoshana, Daniel Ivory, Piniel bat Sarah, Shana bat Nisan, Eileen Martin, Yankel Hirsch bin Malka, Tova Tikva bat Ruth, Cyril Rashka bat Chaya Pearl, Acharon bin Lisa, Yael bat Chaya Sora, Eliezer Leib bin Sarah Elka, Jeannie Eisenberg, Philip Eisenberg, Nissan ben Fredo, Reuven ben Chaya Riva, Esther Batya bat Liba, Michael Donahue, Leon Levine, Shoshana Sharon bat Chana, Shmuel Velva ben Devora, Chaya bat Devora, Leor Israel ben Rachel, John Bronick, Meir David ben Brindle, Rivka Shendel bat Chana, Shalom ben Pesel, Chaim Michael ben Yocheved, Eliyahu David ben Yehudit Chana, Barak ben Bracha, and anyone in our room this evening or joining us online who has someone in mind who is in need of healing. Refuah shlema, refuah tov.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn now to page 56 as we rise for Aleinu, as Sydney leads with Cantor.
More support, I keep you from running away.
You may be seated.
That's so beautifully, though, isn't it?
This week we honor the yurtzeit of Sherry Lado of blessed memory. Had such an impact on our little ones here in the congregation. I'm sure would be happy to know that our pre-K class is going to be well stocked this year. We were thinking of Mark and Tracy and her family this evening. Abraham Mineta, grandfather of Betty Hirsch. Alvin Podolsky, father of Judith Saul. Philip Elfman, Rob, your grandfather. May his memory forever be a blessing. Edith Romanoff, grandmother of Buzz Romanoff. Maurice Schreiber, father of your father, Miriam, and certainly you and Sherry are, communicate your grandfather, your father, and Sherry are communicating and take care of our little ones. Esther Gorovich, grandmother of Doug Passon. Abe Guberman, father of Karen Weiser. Andrew Scott Bernard, brother of Lori Matlick. Fanny Resnick, mother of Laura Sharp. Leon Schlosser, father of Steve Schlosser. Lillian Filer, mother of Netta Shafir. Bob Wolf, father-in-law of Steve Schlosser. Leonard Green, father of Barry Green and grandfather of Evan Green. Michael Kerner, father of Annette Konchapolsky. Milton Cooperman, father of Ron Cooperman. John Maines, father of Molly Ferreter, and anyone else in the room who's observing a yurtzeit in memory of a loved one. Those observing a yurtzeit or in memory of a loved one, please join me for the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 58. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbi, v'yalmad divra kirutei v'yamlit malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei techol beit Yisrael v'adalah v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam le'olam maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'ri'u le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Dan Ron Bioma Vimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael Vimru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'imromav Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Vimru Amen. That's true.
We can't deprive you of your role, sir.
I invite our incoming president, Rob Young, to do announcements this evening and presentations.
Don't have to do anything, but you do have to go about
There's so much life.
Yes.
What was that?
There's so much life energy. Thank you, Cantor. Thank you, Maura Ivory, for leading us in Kabbalah Shabbat services. Thank you, Sydney Remus, for who you'll become a bat mitzvah next weekend. But we're glad that we could celebrate with you now.
Yes.
And there's something very special I want to share with you. So, Laura Andre Ivory suggested that everybody go to a barbecue this weekend, but he didn't invite anybody to come.
And he said he's a good barbecue.
There's something very special today. Today is the birthday of Bob Dylan. And tomorrow is the 70th anniversary of his bar mitzvah. So that's really cool. So you should listen to Bob Dylan music.
Does that mean I have to do a Don't Along to Tangle Up?
Maybe.
Yes, I think so. I think
Or
so.
Hurricane.
So, Sydney,
Blowing in the wind, I suppose is okay.
Sydney, I have some gifts for you. There's a Kiddush cup there that's a gift from the Congregation Men's Club and Women's League. It's got your name on it. You can use it for many Shabbats to come.
And it's next week.
Yeah, it's got the right date on it.
It's got the right name. You just drink it, okay?
Not right now. Also, we have a tzedakah box from the Or Tzion Youth Department, and there's a certificate showing that a tree was planted for Jewish National Fund in your name. And Mazel Tov, you were adorable today.
That's a good word that you. No, I'm gonna do this for you because you have to come. You have to earn this now. Have a seat.
Yeah, see.
Don't worry. You have to earn
Okay,
it.
just a few
A little
more
more.
announcements. Registration is now open for the Roz Goodell Religious School, which will now include pre-K, but you already knew that. Join us next Shabbat for Pride Shabbat. We're celebrating June 1st. We have a guest speaker, Gina Reed, who is the outreach manager for 1 in 10. Promises to be very interesting. And Rabbi will be back to talk about his trip to Israel.
Yes, we will.
We will be hosting a free community concert with the Israeli Scouts Friendship Caravan on June 4th at 7 o'clock here. Wilcott will be holding a summer fun mahjong game. Would it not be fun?
It's fun all the time. I love mahjong, but you're talking to someone who's sort of, you know.
All right, so that's on Thursday, June 6th at 1 p.m. here. Our upcoming Shavuot services have been posted in the bulletin. June 11th, we'll have an evening Yizkor at 6 p.m., followed by a Tikkun Leil Shavuot at 7. And on Shavuot Day 1, we will celebrate at Temple Beth Shalom of the East Valley, and Shavuot Day 2 will be here.
Shavuot Day 2 has Yizkor.
Or Tzion teens, incoming 7th graders to graduates, please join us at Handles on June 7th from 5 to 7 for free ice cream. I already put it in my calendar.
You're not, well, okay, you're a teen, absolutely.
Finally, save the date for the 2024 Midbar Youth Turnaround Trip. Wow, the year just flies by. To Disneyland, August 31st to September 2nd. You can RSVP online, and there are many more events coming up for May and June. Please check your bulletin, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Leslie, for your condolences, and thank you all who are joining us online, including Molly,
Kim
and Charlie. Kim and Charlie. Shabbat Shalom to all of you who are joining us this evening.
Molly, may your father's memory be blessed.
Yes, indeed. Barbecue at my house Monday at about 4 o'clock-ish. Salmon burgers are the call of the day. They're spicy, plenty of cayenne pepper that's going into the recipe. I gotta get rid of some salmon that needs to be. I can't only bake so much salmon over so much time.
You can only consume so much salmon over so much time.
Kiddush can be found on page 55.
Holding your cup.
Sydney, come join us as you hold your Kiddush cup. It is used officially official for the first
You're
time.
officially official, holding the spot mitzvah.
We rise. I like to stand for bless the spill.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho me'ahava uvratzon hibiranu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, kihu yom tefillah lemikra'e kodesh, zecher lisiyat Mitzrayim, kimanu b'charta, v'tanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava uratzon, inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
It is
It's
definitely.
great.
We hope. We hope. We'll see what happens. It's yours. It's yours. And you can share with your family if you'd like. No. Okay, cool. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey,
Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Hey,
Shabbat, Shalom.
It's yours.
Shabbat, Shalom.
Enjoy.
Shabbat, Shalom.